Right this very second, there is a literal biological mystery happening inside your head. It's a phenomenon so seamless and so perfectly executed that you've probably gone your entire life without ever even noticing it. Welcome to This Explainer, where today we're diving into the neuroscience of invisible blindness and looking at exactly how your brain constructs the continuous reality you see all around you.
Okay, let's just jump straight into it. As you sit there looking at this screen, your brain is actively hiding something from you. You are blinking constantly, and every single time you do, you actually become completely blind. For tiny, fleeting moments, your connection to the visual world is entirely shut off. And yet, you never experience the darkness, you never see the interruption, and you definitely don't notice reality disappearing on you.
Now, we're not just talking about an occasional flutter of the eyelashes here. The average person blinks up to 20 times every single minute. When you start to scale that up, it adds up to thousands of blackouts. Literally thousands of instances of temporary blindness every single day. To put that into perspective, each of those blinks lasts roughly somewhere between 100 to 400 milliseconds. And sure, a fraction of a second seems tiny, maybe even insignificant on its own. But when you do the combined math, it reveals something absolutely staggering about our physical existence. Over a lifetime, you actually spend months, maybe even years, in total pitch black darkness. But here is the crazy part. Despite spending years with your eyes fully closed, your conscious experience feels perfectly smooth and uninterrupted. I mean, think about it. If your TV cut to black this often, you'd throw it out. Yet, you never feel like you're missing a single frame of the world around you. So this brings us to the core mystery of this explainer. If your eyes are repeatedly shutting off, why don't you constantly perceive flashes of darkness? Why doesn't your life look like a poorly shot movie with a flickering strobe light? How is it possible that our perception is so flawless when our biological hardware is constantly taking breaks?
Well, the answer lies in neuroscience, which points to an invisible editor actively constructing your continuity. It comes down to a neurological process called saccadic suppression, along with predictive visual processing. Basically, during blinks and rapid eye movements, your visual system steps in and actively suppresses your awareness of these interruptions to maintain a sense of absolute stability.
You know, we tend to naturally assume our eyesight works like a passive video camera, just taking in a raw, perfectly accurate recording of reality and live streaming it directly to our consciousness. But that's simply not true. Vision is actually a real-time reconstruction process. It's an assembled, stitched together, and highly stable simulation.
Your brain is essentially acting as a real-time movie director. Whenever a blink occurs, your brain evaluates that momentary loss of light and literally says to itself, you know what? This interruption is unimportant. Let's just remove it from conscious experience. And just like that, the blackout completely vanishes from your reality.
And there's a really good survival reason for this. The human brain values a stable world way more than a perfectly accurate one. Imagine the sheer cognitive overload if every single blink plunged you into visible darkness. Your ability to focus, to move safely, or just to survive would plummet. So evolution gave us a brain that hides the raw, chaotic feed and presents us with a nice, coherent, functional model instead.
Behind the scenes, your nervous system relies on this incredible real-time editing toolkit to stitch together this seamless simulation. Your eyes actually gather fairly incomplete information, but your brain steps in to predict the missing details. It fills in your blind spots, stabilizes motion, and of course, perfectly removes those blink interruptions. What feels like a raw experience is actually heavily processed.
Take your eye movements, for example. Even right now, as you dart from word to word, your eyes are making these rapid, jumping movements called saccades. They are constantly in motion, capturing all these disjointed little snapshots of your environment. Now, without neural filtering, your vision would be an absolute mess. It would look like a violently shaking handheld camera. That is what your raw visual input actually looks like. But your brain suppresses all that motion blur from those jumps, just like it masks your blinks, creating the beautiful illusion of a perfectly still, perfectly stable external world.
And it's fascinating because this active curation doesn't just stop at vision. Your brain is constantly making executive decisions about what you actually need to pay attention to. Think about the clothing touching your skin right now. Until I just mentioned it, your brain was completely ignoring it, right? Constant background noise gets tuned out, and the darkness of your blinks is simply deleted.
This reveals a pretty profound truth about human perception. The mind continuously decides what should and should not enter consciousness. Your sense of continuity is, in a way, an artificial construct, because your consciousness is actually full of hidden gaps. You do not consciously experience every single moment of reality, because your brain selectively removes information before it ever even reaches your awareness.
So, your reality is built upon an active foundation of prediction, memory, filtering, attention, and neural editing, not just raw observation. Your brain is never just sitting back and passively watching the universe. It's actively constructing it, seamlessly patching the holes in your perception before you ever even realize there was a gap to begin with.
What you experience every single day is not raw existence. It's a carefully edited live movie. Your mind quietly erases the darkness and hides the flaws of your senses so you can experience a smooth, curated interpretation of the world. Things feel stable not because your senses are perfect, but because your brain is an absolute master at hiding its own biological limitations.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really chew on. If reality is carefully edited by the mind itself, if your brain effortlessly deletes thousands of blinks a day just to curate your experience, what else are you missing? What other hidden gaps exist in your consciousness right now? It's a pretty fascinating thing to consider the next time you trust your own eyes. Thanks so much for joining me today, and as always, keep questioning the world around you.